Happy Friday and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silver here with Lauren Coleman and Tim Buckley. We are happy it's Friday, but maybe not so happy about the weather.
Yeah, the weather has been super gloomy today. It was rainy all morning. Our meteorologists say there is a breezy Saturday in store to push out this rain, but that does mean the cold is coming. Temperatures will keep dropping, dripping into the 30s. It looks like the rain might come back on Sunday, keeping the cold air here for a bit. Let's see what Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley has to say about this.
Thank you, Lauren. We're trying to clear this out even in real time. If you kind of look closely at our camera here, you can almost imagine a couple of breaks in that steady cloud cover are trying to develop. So that's where we're headed. Right now, it is certainly still partly to mostly cloudy, but looking at a little bit of a better sky in Winston-Salem. The current temperature is 55 degrees. Winds are calm at the moment. Current temperatures look like this across the Piedmont. We're in the low 50s where it's been cloudy, but the foothills have had a couple of hours of sunshine, and our sun this time of year is actually quite strong. So you're already up into the 60s in Wilkesboro. That's what just a couple of hours of sun will do for you. That's your latest radar. We're done with the rain for today. Sun is trying to come out, as I said, and we will have clear sky for tonight and for tomorrow. So overnight temperatures getting a little chilly without the clouds. Will be down into the 30s to start your Saturday, but it will warm up a little bit. Take a look at your morning. This is tomorrow early, mid 30s early on, breezy for the afternoon, mid 50s to finish off the day with that partly cloudy sky. So no issues for tomorrow if you're trying to go out and have any plans for outside. Saturday would be the day to do it. Let me show you though what our computer model is showing us for the rest of the weekend. That's Saturday. Here's midday. It's just partly cloudy and easy. But by Sunday, we start to have some precipitation move in. And actually by Sunday morning, it could be cold enough that we have some wet snowflakes mixing in with some of the rain. Now, I am not forecasting widespread snow in our area. Instead, I think maybe some flakes just are mixing in here or there, but it's basically just a wet, cold day of weather. How cold? Well, honestly, most of the day might even be in the 30s. Take a look at this. We have a high of 41 degrees on Sunday. Kind of a good day to hang inside if you want to. You might be tired because we just set those clocks ahead, don't we? That's something you don't want to forget this weekend. Going into next week, it's dry, but we are still going to be cold, especially in the mornings. Tuesday, I have us at 31. Wednesday, that's 27 degrees. That could be a big deal for area farmers that need to protect those crops that have already started to bloom. We're still going to have these freezes a little bit going through the middle of March.
Tim, thanks. The easiest way to know whether there is rain in the forecast is by using the News 2 app. You can customize alerts for your part of town so you aren't caught without an umbrella. All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, a former Triad principal has been charged with sexual exploitation of a minor. Robert Drummond was the principal at Turrentine Middle School in Burlington. He resigned more than a year ago. The Alamance County Sheriff's Office says it received a cyber tip about child sexual abuse material uploaded to the internet. They say they searched his home and took electronic devices. Drummond is in jail tonight on a $20,000 bond.
Closing arguments are underway for the trial of a former High Point police officer facing charges in the January 6 Capitol riots. Laura Steele's attorney rested their defense yesterday for her participation in the attack. Steele is being tried with 5 other suspects. Steele is charged with 5 felonies related to her involvement in the Capitol riots, and that's according to the FBI. We will keep you updated as we learn more information. The wife of WBTV meteorologist Jason Myers is suing over a November helicopter crash where Myers and pilot Chip Tayag died. The suit is against Wilson Air Center, TTWN Media Network, and iHeartMedia. They are cited as the owner and operator of the helicopter. The family wants to be awarded damages. The official cause of the crash is still under investigation.
Governor Cooper is considering whether to sign a bill into law that would increase penalties for people who riot. It also would allow business owners to sue if their business is damaged during a riot. The idea came about after the George Floyd protests in 2020. Opponents of the bill argue current law does enough to discourage rioting. A similar bill passed 2 years ago, but Governor Cooper vetoed it. The bill now has enough bipartisan support in each chamber to overturn a veto. Tomorrow marks 3 years since COVID was declared a pandemic. Even now, there are still many unknowns about its long-term health effects. Doctors in San Diego are trying to figure out whether there's a link between COVID and a syndrome known as POTS. It affects nervous system functions like heart rate and blood pressure and mostly affects women. Doctors say there's a critical shortage of experts who treat POTS, leaving many patients waiting.
A charity flag football game aimed at raising funds for children battling Hodgkin's lymphoma is back for a 5th year. Hampton Billups is a former North Carolina State football player. He was inspired to start the organization Pigskin for Hodgkin's after his little sister Carly was diagnosed with the disease in 2018. The charity game features former high school, college, and professional athletes.
I think we've learned over the past couple of years that everybody's dealing with something. And so this is an opportunity for everybody to come together and to really spread love throughout our community, whether that's through financial support, whether that's through just being there with one another and that interpersonal relationships.
Pigskin for Hodgkin's has raised over $36,000 in its first 4 years for childhood cancer support organizations. Billups' sister Carly is now cancer-free and will graduate from nursing school in December. She hopes the organization can push to raise $50,000 this year.
I think that it's important to continue to share my story so that others can be inspired and others can be encouraged. I've gotten a chance to talk with a lot of young girls and guys who are going through the same battle and just I wouldn't be able to have that opportunity if I hadn't gone through it. And as I'm going into nursing soon, I will have a totally different aspect and perspective on what my patients are struggling with.
Pigskin for Hodgkin's 5th annual charity flag football game will be March 25th at Northwest Guilford High School. Gates open at noon and kick off at 1 p.m. Organizers are asking for a minimum $1 donation at the door. Reports show roughly 6,000 to 7,000 new cases of the disease are diagnosed in the U.S. each year. And among the adolescent cases, most of those are teenagers.
Boy, to deal with something like that in your own family and then to be able to both spread awareness and raise money through a greater good and, you know, using your celebrity, if you will, since he was a former football player, it speaks volumes of the kind of person that he is.
And what a fun way to give back. One of the things Carly and Hampton were saying were they're so surprised of the pouring of support the community has throughout the last 5 years and just the momentum that keeps carrying year to year. Because, you know, sometimes you could do something like this once or twice, but just the response, they've just been so impressed and they're so thankful for everyone who keeps coming out year after year.
Sure. And all of these things, you know, we all have friends, family that have been impacted by some type of cancer, right? And when that happens to you or your family, you learn all about it. But if it hasn't yet, you know, Hodgkin's, something like that, if you might not know much about it, and now you learn more through these causes, which is really what they're trying to do.
And a whole lot of fun. Like I said, there's going to be former pro athletes, former college players, some high school players. So you never know who you're going to see out there. You might see somebody that you grew up watching or something.
And his sister really seems like she just really appreciates it.
Yeah, and she's doing so well. She's about to graduate from nursing school, and she has such a kind heart. She was telling me that she just transferred to a school in Wilmington, and her fiance joined a church there. So they just love to give back and pour back into their community.
I know it's for fun, but it looks like they take it pretty seriously.
They do. They do. I mean, he sent me the promo video last year when I did the story, and they were getting down and dirty. It's flag football, but
I know it's flag. It looks like they might throw some elbows.
Absolutely. You're in for a show if you want to check it out. That story is on our website.
Tomorrow night, we will all move our clocks ahead for daylight saving time. Lawmakers recently reintroduced a bill that would make it permanent. You might be surprised to know lawmakers actually made it permanent twice in history. Once during World War II and once in the early 70s to see whether there were changes in energy consumption. They found there weren't any significant changes. In 2005, the Department of Energy found that changing clocks twice a year, the way we do it now, reduced total electricity consumption by 0.5% every day.
So when we talk about daylight saving, we talk about sleep a lot. So I asked you on my Facebook page, do you get enough rest? Maurice Moore says no. Love watching TV at night. Jerlane Washburn wrote, my mind just wonders by the time it stops wondering, it's morning. Oh, no. Debbie Malloy says, no, I work some crazy hours sometimes. I try to catch up on the weekends. And then Brittany Wall says, I think I get too much. That makes me want to sleep more. Well, I'm the first to say I do not get enough sleep. I mean, there's some nights I probably get 5 hours, 4 hours, and if I'm lucky, maybe 7. But the big one for me is the TV thing, because I love watching Netflix series. And if I start one at 9 o'clock, I'm going to keep wanting to watch what's next and what's next. And that used to get me when I worked the morning show.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you got to be in the bed early, but I would still be watching shows until like 11 p.m. sometimes.
I think it depends on your business, your work, your life schedule. We're all probably poorly equipped to talk about sleeping well. The news business is not really a good one for regular sleep habits. It just depends, I guess. I get plenty of sleep, but that's because I don't go to work till 2 p.m.
Oh, lucky you. Yeah, you guys have it. You guys have it good because on the day shift, working a 9 to 5, if you want to work out or do anything before work, you have to wake up even earlier.
Right.
So,
well, see, I used to work the morning show at my last station, and I still got 9 hours of sleep. You just really have to. I mean,
that's discipline.
Stick to
because the birds are chirping, the sun is out. I could not do that on the morning show. I tried.
Yeah.
I was lucky if it was like 8:30 when I was in bed.
I worked that same schedule for about 4 years, and I did not get enough sleep, and that was all my fault.
Okay.
I know it was my fault, but life gets in the way.
It
and you might be
does.
like, oh, let's meet for dinner. Okay, fine. Well, I'm going to bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And then you're waking up at 2. So that's kind of the way
I
that
just
it
took a
works.
lot of naps when on that shift.
So like your Achilles heel is TV. For me, it's just my phone. Like I will go to bed at a reasonable time, but then I pick up the phone and you just go down a rabbit hole, whether it's on a social media page or pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like 5 a.m. And I'm like, what am I doing? Go to bed.
Absolutely.
How do you handle the time change? Is it fine for you or a problem?
I just kind of go with it. I don't overthink it. It just is what it is. I mean, I love it when I get that extra hour of sleep for that one day when we fall back, but I mean, it is what it is.
I think we shouldn't even tell people about it. You might just notice it. Like maybe you notice it less if you talk about it less.
We talk about it less, but we have to let them know so they could change their clocks because I've been at church on a Sunday and you have a bunch of people arriving late and the service is almost over or they came too early. So.
And how many of those people said that they were late because their clock, and instead they just didn't want to go.
Yeah, or they were just late. They were trying to miss the songs in the beginning.
That's right. That's funny.
We'll be right back. Hey, if you're looking for something fun to do tomorrow night, there's an intimate concert at Summerfield Farms. Stephanie Quayle is performing her new album in its entirety. It'll feature Nashville co-writer Tori Touye.
This is unique because it's an entire album that I created with my co-writer Tori, and it's sharing those songs essentially how they were written, right? Just a guitar and a keyboard, and to really kind of strip it all back and let the songs do the talking.
Stephanie's band will perform their Lost Years concert tomorrow night at 8. You can find tickets on the Facebook page event. And if you ever get the chance to just meet her, she is so incredibly nice. She headlined the 4th of July block party that they had a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Very talented, super nice woman. She's actually from Summerfield.
She operates the farm, correct?
And now she is, I mean, she's like a Nashville musician now. So, I mean, it's great when you see people who are local who go on to do big things.
And she's very, very talented. I remember when Eric did a story on her last year and we looked up some of her music. She has a beautiful voice. She can't just sing, she can sing. She's really, really, really good. So I'm sure
She's
everybody.
really got it going.
Yeah, she's got it going on, and I'm sure everybody's in for a great show.
It's cool for her to perform in your hometown.
Yeah.
And not just, Greensboro, but like if you're from Summerfield concert, that's pretty cool.
And I wanted to look here because I just wanted to make sure. She was actually born in Montana, but Summerfield is, I like to say that that's where she's from.
And she's co-owner of the farm, right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, I believe so.
And everyone wants to know, is the weather going to be good
Will it
for
be
the
good?
concert?
Will it?
Yes, it will. Let's talk a little bit about that. I'm gonna grab my clicker here because I forgot it at first. Don't worry, we got you covered. We're in the mid-50s currently. Temperatures are actually starting to warm up a little bit. We were a little cooler, of course, with the rain and clouds earlier today, but now they've started to warm up as the sun has started to poke through those clouds. And you might be surprised, say, why is it 61 in Wilkesboro and 53 in Greensboro? Well, the sun came out earlier over here in those foothills, and it's still trying to come out in the rest of the Piedmont Triad area. Looking across the Carolinas right now, it's pleasant in South Carolina in the mid-60s currently, and across the country, you're really seeing that tale of two seasons. That's what March is really all about. We're going from winter to spring, and this is that battle that usually happens. Cold air to the north, warm air to the south. That's going to set us up for a couple different weather systems. One rolled through today with a little bit of rain, not a lot. That's all done with, of course, but we do have another one we're tracking for the finish of your weekend. That chill will set in tomorrow. It'll be a cold day of weather, so find that favorite jacket you haven't really used in a little while. You'll need it. It'll be in the 30s in the morning and even the afternoon. 53 doesn't sound so bad, but with a breeze, it'll feel pretty cold. And then Sunday, this is a surprising little system, I have to tell you. Look how chilly it is. We're in the 30s here. It will be wet, certainly, and our Futurecast model is spitting out some snow across the Piedmont on Sunday morning. Now, I have to tell you, I don't really buy a lot of what that is selling. I think that is definitely overdone in terms of the cold air, but we could see some wet snowflakes mixing in the first couple of hours on Sunday. I do not anticipate they would ever stick to the ground or the roads, but that could be something to watch for. This is Sunday morning around 5 to 6 a.m. This is around 9 a.m. there, and notice how it's all rain by midday, certainly. And we get into the low 40s for Sunday afternoon. But you should plan on the weekend being dry for Saturday and a little breezy, and then Sunday, that's your cold and wet day. And we really do mean cold. 30s most of the time, maybe 41 if we're lucky by that Sunday afternoon. Snap ahead to your 7-day forecast. We are drying out after that into next week. Lots of sunshine, but it will be really cold in the mornings. 31 Tuesday morning, 27 for Wednesday morning. It'll start to warm up a little bit by St. Patrick's Day. Good news there. And don't forget, you want to spring forward. That's this weekend. Your sun will be setting at 7:23.
Tim, thanks. You will definitely want the News 2 app around as you head into the weekend. You can customize alerts for your part of town so you aren't caught without an umbrella. We'll be right back.
Today on U Day, Coach Lamont inspires us how to value each day. He wants us to take action and use each day to add to our life, not just live through each day.
I believe everything that is created today is living. That includes the day that you are currently experiencing right now. Today is alive, but the question is, how are you nourishing the day? Imagine if today could only survive off of your action and completed tasks. What would the day's nutritional value be? Some wake up only to waste time navigating without direction or intention. The day is waiting to be mastered by you, and now is the time for you to simply master it. It is time to own your day. It is time to take your day back. Each morning begins the day with a declaration that you own it. Each day become action-oriented and less reaction-oriented. Without action, we wander, and we're wandering. It causes us to become vulnerable, and that leads to inaction. Make a statement today and put the day in its place. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best U Day. I'll see you.
Put the day in its place. I absolutely love that saying. I did a 2 cents that was kind of similar to this a while back about embracing your now, because sometimes we get so caught up in the destination we see in our head and our long-term goals that we can get frustrated with our current situation. But I always say to people, make your current situation work for you. Work with the tools that you have now. Set realistic short-term goals so you can get that house, you can get that family, you can get that promotion, the things that you really want in life.
I think that's my biggest personal struggle sometimes is, I mean, I love to hear Coach Lamont talk about this, and then you get motivated to do it, and you're like, tomorrow I'm going to do it, and then it doesn't happen. Or tomorrow it works out great, and then Sunday it doesn't happen. And so I think for me, that's the biggest, is once I get into a good habit, or I figure out something that's beneficial to me, is to just continue to make it a habit.
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't happen today, you could always try again to eat a fresh start the next day, right?
That's what I always say when I'm dieting. I'll start tomorrow.
I think that's what everybody says.
Yeah, pizza today, salad tomorrow.
All right.
With ranch.
That could be a t-shirt.
Ooh, gotta have ranch with
Full
it.
flavored ranch on that salad.
Same.
Keep it
You need
up
more
on pizza.
salad
Right.
to go with that ranch.
We'll be right back.
I know. Says I know. Mic check. Francis, it's day 3 of the ACC tournament, and we've gone from 15 teams.
Hello and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Chet Silver, that's Lauren Coleman, this is Tim Buckley, and we are happy that you are here.
And we're also happy it's Friday.
Yes.
The end of the work week.
That's a nice thing.
So happy.
And the sun's coming back out. We're in pretty good shape.
You know, I kind of feel badly for people, and I've been in this position before, so let me say that I know what it feels like. For people who don't work a traditional Monday through Friday, and then like if they have like Friday is really like their Monday or Tuesday, and everybody is so happy, and they're just like, oh, well.
That's a lot of folks in this building, especially the ones that work weekends. And I used to be one of those people. Everybody's like, it's Friday. And I'm like, well, it's actually my Tuesday. So
I did that
simmer
for about
down.
4 years, be really
Simmer
grumpy
down.
on Fridays.
Yeah, so if that's you, we apologize, but if it's
Sure.
not you, happy Friday.
Let's have a good day anyway.
Great day. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. We'll have more on the weather in just a few, but it's semifinals day for the ACC tournament. Once again, the Greensboro Coliseum is the place to be. Some fans who will be in the stands tonight have already watched their favorite team go home, but are sticking around to enjoy all the fun. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey is live at the Coliseum as we get closer to tip-off. Hey, Jalen.
Over the last 3 days, we've gone from 15 teams down to just 4 here inside the Greensboro Coliseum, as we're just a few hours away from tip-off of tonight's semifinal matchups. But just because the number of teams in contention has shrunk, that doesn't mean fan excitement has. Outside in the RV lot, fans of the losing teams are sticking around till the final buzzer sounds.
We have a good time. It's a good atmosphere down here. All of the different fans from the different schools seem to get together. Yeah, we give each other a hard time, but everybody gets along. Good food, good people. I'm down here with my UVA in-laws, and they are probably having a better week than I am, but I'm enjoying it too.
Sean isn't the only fan of a team that's eliminated that's sticking around for championship weekend. This Syracuse fan I spoke to earlier had his heart broken by Wake Forest on Wednesday, but he and his wife are still sticking around for the final games.
It's March Madness time. I mean, it's tournament time. They're all good games. To me, this is the best week of the year for basketball because every game is good. You stick around, still see some good basketball. I was an athletic trainer in college for 27 years, so, I've been in athletics my whole life. So I just enjoy getting out and doing something different, and it's kind of like a vacation.
And whether or not your favorite team is still in the hunt for the ACC title, the Greensboro Coliseum is still the place to be tonight. Tip-off of Game 1 is at 7 p.m. Back.
Jalen, thanks. And I mean, that guy that he interviewed there, that's goals, right? You've got your camper parked outside in the parking lot, and you just stay all week and enjoy basketball. Your team didn't make it, but I mean, boy, what a week.
That's a true fan right there. So you made your way out there this week. How was it?
It was really fun. Yeah, back on Wednesday, went to some of the games. And what I thought that was really cool is you do see all the different color T-shirts for all the different color schools. Even the schools that weren't playing in those games, there were still fans from those other teams there. And I didn't see anybody acting badly to anybody. Everyone was kind of getting along and just having a good time. And a lot of us locals here just really happy to have it back here and grateful for that. So it's a really fun time. And yesterday we were talking about the big four were all playing. Now there's only one left. So a lot of people, or maybe your favorite team is no longer playing.
I've really enjoyed seeing all the kids that have been out there throughout this week. They're like, oh, we get to miss school today, but they just look like they're having much fun with the different mascots out there. And to be in an area with other, college basketball players, if they're into doing sports, I'm sure they're inspired by what they see.
Yeah, it's just fun.
One thing that I noticed during Jalen's story too, he had mentioned that the gentleman from Syracuse was married to a UNC alum, so a house divided. And I'm sure they every year I imagine they wait for that bracket to come out to see when they might meet up.
I met a couple. The guy was from State, right?
Okay.
NC State, and the girl was from UNC. And I was like, how does this work?
Does
this work okay?
We saw a lot of that last year with UNC and Duke. There was a lot of houses that were divided. And they get pretty heated in those arguments, though.
Yeah, you got to work extra hard to make that work.
Yes, you do. Well, there are 4 teams left. As you know, Miami, Virginia, Clemson, and Duke are the last teams standing. Duke is coming off a dominant win in the quarterfinals. So is Clemson, who beat NC State last night. Miami knocked out Wake Forest, and Virginia sent the Tar Heels back to Chapel Hill. As Jalen said, the first game between Miami and Duke is at 7 p.m. Virginia and Clemson tip off at 9:30. The winners will meet tomorrow night in the conference championship at 8:30.
And it doesn't stop with the ACC tournament. March Madness is up next at the Greensboro Coliseum. The first 4 kicks off March 14th. Rounds 1 and 2 will then be played Sunday, March 19th at the Greensboro Coliseum.
And for all the out-of-towners visiting our fair city, hopefully they've had some good times with what we can give them. Today was the gloomiest of the bunch so far. It's been a dry week otherwise, but take a look. In just the last 30 minutes, we really have seen that cloud cover go away, and we're transitioning now to more of a blue sky. So things are looking up as of now. And the temperature is responding. We're up to 54 in Greensboro compared to around 50 just about an hour ago. Winston-Salem is warming up as well. So enjoy this. The next couple of hours should be a pretty nice finish to the day, and you have daylight now until about 6:30. Next week, it'll be about 7:30. Temperatures in your hometowns a little warmer to the west, a little cooler to the east. That's just because of those clouds that are clearing our area. And you can see on satellite very clearly how those clouds are getting ready to move out. We will have sunshine all day long for tomorrow, but it will be a cold day. Overnight tonight, we're dropping back into the 40s very quickly, and by tomorrow morning, we should wake up to mid-30s. So it's a chill in the air to start the weekend, to be sure. That's your early morning Saturday. By the afternoon, not terrible, but it will be breezy. You'll want to be bundled up at least with a sweatshirt or a jacket or something like that. With the breeze, it'll feel a little bit more like 40s rather than 50s. We still need to talk about Sunday. My forecast for that hasn't changed too much, but it is going to be a wet day, and honestly, it's cold enough that we might even see some wet snowflakes mixing with some of the rain. Usually that's not a big deal, but hey, we haven't really seen any all year basically. So let's try our luck and see if it works out this time. It would just be for fun if you see some. The most likely time for that would be around church time from about 7 a.m. through about 11 a.m. After that, we go into next week. It should be dry and cool most days. In fact, some of them are downright chilly. We'll have freezing temperatures for Tuesday morning, right around 31, colder in the outlying areas, and around 27. That could be a serious freeze there that farmers need to look out for. Wednesday morning should be the coldest that we get. After that, a warming trend. We'll carry ourselves into the mid-60s by your St. Patrick's Day. Next week, looking like 65 for Friday.
Tim, thanks. The easiest way to know whether there's rain in the forecast, use the News 2 app. You can customize your alerts for your part of the town. For almost 2 years, Glenn High School students have worked to secure a space, recruit sponsors, and stock a functional food pantry. Today, their hard work paid off. The Bobcat Food Pantry had its grand opening this morning. What started out as a Christmas donation for toys and food is now giving year-round. The pantry is sponsored by the school's Spanish Club and Summit Church in Kernersville.
Greensboro elementary students learned all things healthy eating today. Local author Bob Crumroy visited Rankin Elementary to read his book, What Should I Eat Today? The book teaches kids about healthy food options. One of the school chefs even made one of the recipes from the book. The school principal says it's important for students to see people in their community doing good work.
So I'm hoping that not only was this a lesson about nutrition and healthy eating, but it was also an opportunity for kids to see people in our community who are doing great things and for them to know that they can do great things in our community too.
She says kids need to understand that healthy choices now set them up for life. March is National Nutrition Month. Around North Carolina, officials say last night a car drove through the entrance of Wilmington International Airport. The sheriff's office says the car drove through the fence line. At the airport and onto the tarmac, deputies were able to detain the driver quickly, but the vehicle ultimately ended up crashing through the doors and windows, ending up in the lobby. No injuries were reported.
A medical transport helicopter carrying a patient crashed in Macon County east of Murphy in the mountains, and you will not believe the outcome. Macon County 911 got a call declaring an emergency, then the call went dead. Police say the helicopter was on its way to a North Carolina hospital when it crashed. There were 4 people on board and all survived. We'll bring it back.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a Oh, the Cadbury egg. For as long as most of us can remember, this right here has been in an Easter basket. So what do you know about the Cadbury egg?
You know, when
They're good. That's what I know. They taste good, and I look forward to them every year.
I don't really like them. But,
I'm not a fan either.
But I am very familiar with it. And when I saw that you were doing this story today, do you know what the first image that came to my mind?
It has to be the bunny.
No, but
No?
close.
Okay.
It was like, what is it, like a lion?
Yes.
With the bunny
with the
ears
bunny
on?
ears.
Oh.
Yes, we're
That's
going
what
to
I
get to
think about.
that for sure. I did hunt around a little bit for some Cadbury egg history, though.
Okay.
And it dates way, way, way back because Cadbury, the first one that came out with a cream egg was called Fry's candy. And Cadbury bought them and they named them the Cadbury cream egg in 1971. So we have all known this as a household name for more than 50 years. So, I mean, this is something like you probably did get it in your Easter basket.
Yeah, every year.
I really do love that they kind of keep the commercials too.
Yes.
Like
now, those didn't start till the 80s.
Oh, okay. But I like that they're still kind of grainy because they use the old
Oh, for sure.
commercials. I mean, just, you know,
Right.
it's a staple.
That is right. The Cadbury bunny, it is a staple. So you do remember the commercials, right? So now the bunny can be any animal. As you mentioned, it was a lion.
lion, yeah.
Okay, so you get to help choose the animal this
Really?
year.
Oh,
you do.
cool.
So let's take a look. There are 10 finalists this year. A beaver, a guinea pig, and a chihuahua are on the first list of 3. Then comes the actual bunny with one ear, a chinchilla, and a hunting dog. The last 4 in the lineup, a miniature horse, a duck, a sheep, and this cat that apparently can give you a high five. So go figure. All these animals are rescues. And for example, I wanted to highlight one of them, the sheep, named Timmy, lives at the Funky Chicken Rescue Sanctuary. Now, there are more than 200 animals at this sanctuary, but the woman who runs this rescue farm wanted Timmy to represent them. And here's why. We're going to show you some old video of Timmy because when he first got there, he had an infection. It left him unable to walk. The vets told her this sheep is not going to make it, but with the help of leg braces and some faith and a whole lot of love, Timmy slowly began walking and then running and then hopping like a bunny. Now I got to tell you, this is really a big deal if one of these animals gets picked because they get $5,000 for the family that they come from and $5,000 for the rescue facility of their choice.
Wow.
He's very well deserving of that.
Timmy's gonna win,
Yeah.
right? Like, do the other animals have these?
They all
incredible
have
stories?
good stories. They're all rescues. They all have good stories. But isn't that sweet?
Yeah,
Very
that's great.
sweet.
Which
So-
did you pick?
I'm picking Timmy.
Timmy is great, and the guinea pig was pretty cute too. That was a cute picture.
And there's a chinchilla, and that's just fun to say. Chinchilla.
I like the Chihuahua because basically they're all farm animals, and then there's a dog.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's a dog in there, yeah, for
That's
sure.
great.
All right, so you have until March 14th to vote for your favorites. So what I've done is I put the voting page. This is the Cadbury site here. 10 finalists vote once a day up until March 14th, so you can vote several times. We've linked you to the voting page in the Who Wants to Know section. Timmy!
Oh, that's so cute.
As you know, trends, they come and go in all aspects of our lives. What you wear, what you listen to, and even which workouts you do. There's another shift happening right now in the fitness world. Let's connect the dots.
Why are folks changing how they work out? Let's connect the dots. Gyms have looked relatively the same for the past several decades. Long rows of treadmills and elliptical machines with some free weights in the corner. Now strength training is surging in popularity thanks to some recent studies. That trend also driven by the rise in high-intensity workouts and women starting to ignore the stereotype that only men should lift weights. So as the pandemic came to an end, folks rushed back into gyms looking for dumbbells instead of treadmills. A fitness trade association says gym memberships rose in 2021 above pre-pandemic levels, along with a huge surge in strength training classes. Now, some gyms are shifting layouts to focus on weight training and cutting back on cardio equipment, all with the hopes of keeping that surge of post-pandemic members. And that is connecting the dots.
One of the craziest things that I have seen recently is a trend called bungee fitness. Have you heard of this?
What is this?
Is this when they sit in the things
This
and
is
they?
what it looks
Yes.
like.
I think we did a package on
Can you
that
see this,
before.
Angela? Can you see?
Yeah,
if I
let's
hold
zoom
this
in
up?
So
on
they're
that.
like stretching out and they're bouncing up and down?
Yes.
In like a little harness.
Yeah, and it's apparently like it's a good workout, and apparently it's good for your joints.
Oh.
Because it's less pressure on some of your joints. And so I don't even remember where. I think I was in Charleston and was going to a restaurant, and in that same strip mall they had this business, and right in the front window these people are all doing this bungee fitness.
Wow.
It looked interesting. I would probably try it.
It's always interesting to see these different boutiques that pop up from time to time. I was watching one television show, a reality show, and this girl was going on an active date with a guy, and they had moon boots on basically.
Oh.
And they're just like, jumping and stuff in their moon boots. And I'm like,
like
there's always
weighted?
these, huh?
They must have been like weighted, right? Like had
Yeah,
weights in them?
but they
Okay.
look like little moon boot things and they were
Interesting.
bouncing around.
Wow.
I was like, this is an interesting date.
There's some weird workouts out there. You like can do it with goats and yoga.
Oh yeah, goat yoga, and they'll get on your back.
Your back.
Your
Just take
back.
a walk or something.
Let's talk about the weather.
Yes, we're going to talk about your weather here, of course, as we head into tomorrow. It's going to be a very nice Saturday. Expected to be breezy and right around 54 degrees, kind of similar to where we've been for today. And looking at the current temperatures, it's actually started to warm up a little bit. So we're in the low and mid 50s currently across the Triad area, more like the low 60s as you go over toward the foothills, because you have had a little bit more sunshine over the last couple of hours. Zooming out, it's still pretty comfortable as you look across the Carolinas, warmer, of course, to the south where you would expect it. There is cooler weather and chilly weather across the northern tier of the country, where they've been dealing with a couple of winter weather systems. Now, actually, this weekend, we have some chance of maybe sneaking in a couple of snowflakes for one of the only times so far this winter, and time is really running out as far as that goes around here. Cold and dry for tomorrow. You'll be in the 30s for the morning, low 50s to maybe mid 50s for your Saturday afternoon. There will be a bit of a breeze that kicks up that kind of prevents you from being too warm, so I'd really recommend being bundled throughout the day. But here's that chance of some flakes, as I mentioned. We're talking about 7, 8, 9 a.m. on Sunday. If the precipitation gets here early enough, the atmosphere is still cold and we could see a little wet snow. Now, we will be above freezing, the ground's not cold. All of those things mean that it would melt on impact. But if you would enjoy seeing some snow fall from the sky, I think that's at least a possibility for your Sunday morning, and wouldn't that be fun? We'll see if it happens. Sunday midday, though, we're up into the 40s. There's still some rain showers around. We'll pick up about 3/4 of an inch of rain throughout the day on Sunday, so wetter than we were for today. A little bit of a closer view of your Sunday morning. This is around 5, 6, and 7 a.m. You see right there, there is some snow on our Futurecast. I just think it's overdone. I'm not really buying a lot of that. Overall for the weekend, we're in the mid-50s for Saturday, low 40s. That's actually mostly in the 30s throughout the day on Sunday. It's just a raw day of weather. Don't forget to set those clocks ahead. You'll have to do it. Next week, cold mornings and cool, chilly afternoons.
It wouldn't be the 4 to 5 if we didn't talk about food once again. I asked you on my Facebook page, what's the most unusual dessert you've tried? Julie Luck says avocado ice cream, pretty tasty actually. Mary Kay Abuzawader wrote vinegar pie, actually very, very good. James Jackson, pinto beans pie. Donna Marshburn says squash pie, and then Manuel Goodman says shrimps and ice cream and pickles. I looked at that a couple times and I'm like, did you really eat that? Did somebody really put that together? But the reason I posted this question is because, you know, Hidden Valley came out with that new ice cream that's ranch flavored.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I have one requirement for my dessert.
Okay.
It has to be sweet.
Okay.
And so I don't know that I want pickles in my ice cream.
See, you know, I
you?
will defend that. When I first heard many years ago that apparently pregnant women tend to like pickles and ice cream,
Okay.
I tried it and I really liked it.
You really like? So
It
did
was
you?
really good.
So did you get a pickle flavored ice cream, or you just
No.
chopped up some pickles and put it in the vanilla
my
bean ice
gosh.
cream? Very
It was
interesting.
really. I just tried vanilla. Obviously, you can try other flavors, but I thought it was good.
I wouldn't be able to keep that down. I really not to
You know,
gross
maybe
out.
I'll have to try it in the
Not
future.
participating.
Maybe when I have one in the oven, I'll try that. I do remember when Sonic came out with the pickle slushy flavor, and it was a limited time. But I could kind of see how that works because lemons are sweet, pickles are sweet. Maybe that would work. I don't know.
Lemons are sweet.
People
What kind
are
of lemon you
obsessed
eating?
Well, sour, sweet,
Lemonade
sweet and
is good,
sour.
though.
Yeah.
People are obsessed with pickles. This is an obsession.
I love pickles.
There's like a whole segment of the population that's like a pickle cult.
What are your thoughts on bread and butter pickles?
Bread and butter pickles.
They're kind of sweet.
Are those
They
the
are
little
sweet.
tiny ones?
They're more of a flavor than it is a
Okay.
size. But
I'm not sure if
I
I
like the
had a
tiny
bread and
ones.
butter pickle, but I do like the little.
gherkins.
Yeah, those are good.
And we'll leave you with that. We'll be right back.
Got some pickles. Weirdos.
Weirdos.
Mic check, Brett. 1 2 1 2. It's Jalen right here doing my thing, getting ready to talk about the games. The games.
They're ahead of the curve. It's funny this past year.
We had a whole discussion about
Okay,
it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Greensboro is also getting money.
Yo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hi, North Carolina lawmakers taking action. They just passed a bill for tougher punishment for rioting. The bill
Hannah mic check, Hannah mic check. You want a Hannah mic check all the time. Roll, call my name.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Last but not least, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents, and today I'm going to get on the soapbox a little bit. I saw something recently that worries me and kind of shocked me a little bit. It's from a website called whatstrending.com. They were talking about Indeed, the job search website, that they started a TikTok channel to attract what they say are Gen Z and millennial job searchers. It's a campaign, apparently that's a thing, called You Better Work Boss, which means you got to work to get me. And I thought that was kind of shocking for someone looking in the job market to go to the boss and say, you got to work for me. This campaign is based on data that on this website, and I'm quoting, they say, shows that this generation is redefining their work relationships and expects firms to work harder to attract and retain employees like themselves, right? Well, for me, this is all backwards. Can you imagine, for those of you that grew up at the time I did, if we'd gone into a place to get a job for the first time and said, you got to work for me, pal. Good luck in getting a job then. If our country has reversed this system, it will fail. I compare it to a beehive, like the company is the beehive. The queen bee sits in there, lays the eggs, right, top of the food chain. The worker bees go out and do their thing, bring the pollen and nectar back. It's all one big machine, right? And if the queen, per se, let's say, for example, were to go, well, let me go down here and make sure I can attract the right bees to our hive. That's not her job. And then she stops laying eggs and the hive or the company fails. You need everybody doing their part. Now, yes, you start out, you work really hard, you work your way up, you get more responsibility, your job's a little bit easier to swallow, and you make more money. And that's kind of the way corporate America and corporate Earth works. I think if we are saying this, that the employee, the brand new employee, comes in with an attitude and says, you got to work for me, we got to take a hard look at where we're headed as a society, and also how our business practices will succeed or fail in the future. But that's just my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.